The verdict is in for Harry's security court case. The verdict will be released tomorrow. What do you think the result is? For all of us taxpayers around the world, I hope he will lose. I don't mind having him in the US because it keeps him away from the Wales family, but there's no way I want him to get US-funded security. Somewhere, countries say their second child is now a diplomat, without them really doing anything to get them away from their home country. Then we need to pay for their security? If they went to school and are actually filling a true diplomatic role, then 100% they should be a diplomat. But if it is just a feel-good cover to give them a job, then the home country needs to pay. We do not need to subsidize their security costs. I am 100% into paying for a real diplomat, as that is a necessity as a nation, just not to make work for a second royal child. This isn't a new concept, except most of the countries who play this game usually do it with diplomatic immunity. They have the second child claim diplomatic immunity to get out of jail for whatever trouble they're in. While DI is getting sorted out, the kid is put on a plane and flown home. It's usually Middle Eastern royals or powerful children of dictators. The thing is, diplomatic service at the pleasure of their government and invitation of the host country. If Harry is claiming diplomatic rights, the US can ask him to leave. It is common courtesy for diplomats to respect their host country and not create undue security costs. There is also the issue that Meghan and the kids are US citizens. They are not entitled to protection as individual citizens by the US government. Our courts have been clear on this fact. The diplomatic treaties were not created for people who are living and working as private individuals, even if they are related to the other country's head of state. If he wins, the US government needs to yank his visa pronto and kick him back to the UK. He can take Meghan with him. No way should we be paying for his security when he's nothing but a private resident, not even a citizen. The thought of the government taking money out of my paycheck to protect those tweets makes my blood boil. One lawyer said, I think having an internationally protected person's status ranks you as a diplomat, since an internationally protected person's status has to be fundamentally important to global governance. So I don't know if the status of his visa would even matter if there's a verdict in his favor. He'd be seen as a representative of the United Kingdom. It would be up to the UK government to yank him back home, and it's unlikely that will happen. Unless the USA threatens to revoke something else of importance to the UK, leveraging the relationship between the two nations, I think he'd stay without repercussions. I've also secretly wondered if a backroom deal hasn't been brokered between King Charles III and US officials to permit Harry to stay in the United States, as a favor, in return for something. In fact, IPP status has nothing to do with the threat to any individual. It's that something happening to the individual represents a threat to the state. If King Charles III was ever captured by a terrorist group, it would destabilize the UK, the Commonwealth, and the entire world. But Harry is not so much. Someone compared Harry to the Prince of Denmark, the Queen's second son, recently moving to Washington, D.C. and having his security paid for. The difference? The Danish prince is working as a diplomat, and the United States does pay for the expenses of visiting diplomats because it's critical to our international relations. As in, the Danish prince literally having a post inside of the Danish embassy, and not in a mansion in California, is a post that would have been filled by another diplomat if the Danish prince wasn't taking up the role. If Harry leaves his mansion in Montecito, that is of no vested interest to the global affairs and international relations of the United States as a nation-state. Is Harry here as a diplomat? That may very well be a dishonest way to get the US to pay for his security. Frankly, I would rather non-royalty be diplomats, and would have no problem paying for their security. As long as there is a defined amount of time the Danish prince is here and will return to his home, then it would be okay too. Otherwise, it feels disingenuous. It really doesn't matter who the diplomat is. They will get some taxpayer-provided security no matter what. There is a standard base level of security that's the same for all diplomats. Threat assessment will evaluate security risks and possible threats and, as needed, increase security. Simply being a royal is unlikely to increase security without extenuating circumstances. One insider commented on Harry. I think Harry's round-the-clock protection contributed to his problems as a kid. Firstly, his parents used his protection officers as free childcare. They relied too much on their personal protection officers to spend time with them, rather than spending quality time with them themselves. Secondly, I suspect it contributed to Harry's sense he could get away with anything if he could take drugs, underage drink, and assault people under the gaze of personal protection officers, with no legal consequences. Thirdly, it must surely mess with your head if you have people watching you the whole time. I wouldn't like it. And I think it would give you a heightened sense of security risk because you are deemed to need the protection, and therefore you get paranoid about it. Harry seems to need protection now like a comfort blanket. It is so ingrained in his psyche that he feels naked without it. I would not wish this on his kids. He would probably better protect his kids by not wanting to be so high profile all the time and live his life of privacy, which he previously claimed he wanted. He would better protect them by not blogging about his experiences in Afghanistan and putting extremist targets on his back. He would protect them better by not going away so much, leaving them with staff who would be complicit with kidnappers if he employs the wrong person. And it would be better if he was not such an obnoxious person who could attract nutters. In addition, the fact that Harry is after UK security because his protection team is not allowed to carry guns inside GB boundaries, wouldn't have access to security threats, has nothing to do with the US. Of course, his security team doesn't have access to information concerning security threats here, and can't carry on some of the states with sensible gun control, but that's a story for another day. Harry should know he has no chance of having US-funded protection. He is not an internationally protected person. What do you think the court's conclusion will be tomorrow? Let us know your thoughts below in the comment section. We hope you found this video helpful. Don't forget to leave a like, share, and subscribe to the channel if you like it. Thank you for watching this newsletter. See you in the next videos. Goodbye.